Talk about Sophie Cunningham making some comments about WNBA fans, what she believes fans may not have right about WNBA players, and how a lot of fans feel about, I would assume, hard plays, aggressive plays. I'm not quite.
The WNBA believed it to be secure. It believed that its greatest star was untouchable. Then the statistics fell, given by a legend, demonstrating that Caitlin Clark's departure is a financial necessity rather than only a possibility. The writing is on the wall, as an indisputable reality has surfaced. Put loyalty aside. One star's future is now obviously out of the WNBA's control, and this is about enormous sums of money that will change women's basketball forever. Sophie Cunningham's latest inflammatory remarks highlight the league's current stormy waters, adding fire to an already flammable scenario that may cause important players to seek the closest escape.
Last year had volunteered to join the Fever as Caitlin Clark's enforcer. And that's Angel McCoughtry. She played in the league forever. She's 39 years old now. And really good player. I mean, a 6-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champ, averaged 18.6 points a game in her career. And she makes some comments about Project B that's very interesting. And I think she's saying the quiet part out loud, that some players may forego the
Project B, a mysterious new organization that has the potential to completely upend the women's professional basketball scene, is the source of the seismic change. This is not another league, promising sums that beyond anything the WNBA has ever offered. It's an economic earthquake. Put contract negotiations and gradual raises out of your mind. In an attempt to entice the greatest talent with unimaginable cash, Project B is going all out. Its emergence raises the possibility of an exodus, a mass flight of participants in search of financial security that may change their lives, beginning with the most marketable assets in the league.
WNBA, not unrivaled, the W, in order to play in this new league. She also squashes the myth about, players have talked about, I want to be able to stay in the States. I don't want to go overseas, blah, blah, blah. She says that's kind of BS. That sounds like a negotiating tactic is what it is. So, Sophie Cunningham, let's check this out.
I'm not just speaking for myself. I think I'm speaking on behalf of probably the whole league, that when people see us competing and trying to fight to do anything it takes to win, because this is a hard league.
Angel McCoughtry, a real legend and former WNBA All-Star, didn't only allude to this. With stunning precision, she presented the hard, cold realities. Her observations, which highlight the difficult financial situation players must deal with while deciding where to play, are a devastating blow to the WNBA's narrative. McCoughtry speaks from experience, having personally witnessed the league's financial constraints during her illustrious career. Last season, she even offered to serve as Caitlin Clark's enforcer. She lifts the veil to reveal the disparity between these athletes' present compensation and what lies ahead.
Sophie Cunningham, let's check this out.
I'm not just speaking for myself. I think I'm speaking on behalf of probably the whole league, that when people see us competing and trying to fight to do anything it takes to win, because this is a hard league, that they automatically think that's what you're like off the court. People need to get to know us players more, and I think if they do, they fall in love with us. And so not judging the competitive side of us compared to our off court.
Just wondering, do fans do that? Because I don't. I never one time have I seen somebody's play and been like, they must be real nasty off the court. They must be.
The disparity in income is simply astounding. Think about the WNBA maximum contract. Just $90,000 for elite players, a sum that hardly makes an impression in the world of professional sports. Compare that to Project B's proposed minimum pay of an astounding $2 million. It's not a minor bump. For even an end-of-the-bench guy, it's an almost 22-fold boost. This one statistic highlights the WNBA's incapacity to compete, giving players with brief careers the impression that any loyalty is financially unwise.
on what else does the player got going on off the court. Do they take basketball seriously, or do they want to be a celebrity influencer? Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I thought that was interesting and that you guys would want to see that. Let's go over here. This is the Good Follow podcast. Hell, go subscribe. It looks like it's relatively new. The lady on the left is Angel McCoughtry. Like I said, we're talking about a real force in the league. 5-time All-Star, 2 times.
However, salaries are not the end of the money. Project B offers something unprecedented in established leagues to sweeten the sale. Equity. Players receive more than just compensation. A piece of the pie is being given to them. An opportunity to get a stake in a league whose value could skyrocket. By converting athletes from employees to stakeholders, this innovative strategy directly links their long-term financial interests with the expansion of the league. For players looking for generational wealth far beyond what regular WNBA contracts offer, it's an alluring opportunity.
And how that's going to, she gives you a perspective of how players are going to look at this money, and you can tell from her reaction, it's like, whoa, that's a whole different level of cash we're talking about.
The max was $90,000.
I mean, even just say, like, you haven't been playing the league for, what, 1-2 years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just even talk now. You're a current
Okay, I'm a current player.
These players are making max $250.
Now I'm making $250, then $90. And let's see, $5 million, $2 million. I mean, guys, you do the math. Who's going to turn that down? And then I'll have a chance to have equity in this league.
McAtree asked a question that everyone was wondering. Why put your body through playing the DMN WNBA if you're going to get paid $5 million? Without holding back. This goes beyond rhetoric. It poses a serious threat to the WNBA's value proposition. When an alternative gives such great financial security, why put up with the demanding schedule, the physical strain, and the comparatively low pay? Every WNBA player, particularly those with market-moving star power, must reevaluate their priorities in light of her direct appraisal.
50, then 90. And let's see, $5 million, $2 million. I mean, guys, you do the math. Who's going to turn that down? And then I'll have a chance to have equity in this league, and this league could possibly grow. I mean, Project B, AKA Project B, let's get it.
Yeah.
You know,
feels like common sense almost.
It feels like it is common sense. I mean, honestly, I see a lot of girls. If you're going to get paid $5 million, why put your body through playing in the WNBA? Is that what? That's what I see coming.
Well, here's the another aspect of this too. I thought the whole trend and point of some of these new leagues popping up was that the trend was going, players wanted to stay home in the U.S. And so that's an advantage that, like,
To make matters worse, McCry dispels the long-held notion that WNBA players would rather remain in the United States. The idea that players value being at home has been promoted for years, which makes leagues like Unrivaled appealing. McCoughtry, however, refers to it as B. She clarifies that this constructed preference is essentially a negotiation strategy, a handy narrative that conveniently ignores the need for genuinely transformative funds. In actuality, gamers will travel to any location if the price is appropriate.
You're fixing to see a lot of surprising names, I have a feeling, sign up for this league because they think the W is going to 850 or 1 million. Okay, well, what do you think they would pay Asia Wilson? 8 million, 10 million a year, so 8 to 10 times more than they're paying now. Caitlin Clark, 15 million, 20 million, 25 million. I mean, I don't know. People seem to get offended when I bring that. Why? Why would...
Speaking from very personal experience, McCoughtry describes her favorite travel destinations, such as Istanbul, Turkey. She paints a vivid picture of a lively life filled with delicious cuisine, rich culture, and renowned parties that, on days off, run until 7 in the morning before breakfast. It's not a sacrifice. It's an improvement in living. The prospect of playing in Europe, Asia, or even Africa, along with travel, elite basketball, and enormous compensation, is presented not as a hardship, but rather as a way of life that totally transforms the abroad option. The carefully crafted narrative by current WNBA players and league officials is destroyed by this statement from a reputable WNBA veteran. It is shown to be a convenient fallacy that players wish to stay at home only for the sake of it. Mercury effectively illustrates how the dollar quantity alters everything. Where you play is no longer as important as how much you get compensated for it. The financial power of Project B fully eliminates the WNBA's geographic preference-based leverage. There's more than simply a financial gap between Project B and the WNBA. Additionally, it surpasses new domestic options such as Unrivaled, which pays players about $250,000. The minimum $2 million required for Project B is essentially 9 times that amount. This implies that in a single year, a player may earn the equivalent of 9 unmatched seasons or numerous WNBA maximum seasons. The magnitude of this new league's investment in Project B indicates a total game changer, making it impossible for smaller rivals to genuinely compete for elite players. The consequences for true superstars are enormous when an end-of-the-bench player can demand a minimum wage of $2 million. If any player, regardless of star status, can get such an amazing contract elsewhere, the WNBA's whole compensation structure and even its very survival are called into question. Who will fill the rosters? The league could become hollowed out as a result, losing the excitement and talent that attracts spectators. A clear route to its eventual destruction if rapid and significant adjustments aren't made. Let's now discuss the real game changers. What about the WNBA Titans if an average player can earn $2 million? According to Mercury, a celebrity like A'ja Wilson would be able to get $8 million or perhaps $10 million a year from Project B. This is a multiple of 8 to 10 times her current WNBA salary, not merely more money. These numbers are not only alluring, but they also constitute a moral requirement that agents and players take into account, necessitating a thorough reassessment of their professional trajectories. The WNBA has been energized by the entrance of Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's basketball and a transcendent talent. McCautry's predictions for Clark are astounding. $15 million, $20 million, or perhaps $25 million annually. These figures make a statement rather than just being statistics. They stand for a level of wealth that would fundamentally alter her life and legacy, far more than the WNBA could ever hope to provide given its current financial situation. The WNBA would suffer a terrible hit if she left. Clark's enormous Nike contract serves as a stark reminder of her potential Project B profits. With a reasonable estimate of $20 million per year from Project B, she might double her anticipated Nike income in just 8 years, or about 3 years. Playing basketball can lead to an extraordinary and alluring level of financial security. It draws attention to the core issue facing the WNBA. Its most valuable assets are unable to have a comparable financial future. Thus, they must take into account outside choices. The justification for staying in the country put out by athletes like Breanna Stewart and Nafi Sakir is revealed to be a smokescreen. McCautry's open comments validate what many had suspected. It's all about the money, not about remaining put. It is now indisputable that the notion that players would forego millions to play in the U.S. when there are plenty of profitable and entertaining possibilities elsewhere is untrue. A handy lie intended to conceal the domestic league's underlying financial problems. The WNBA's problems are exacerbated by yet another scandal amid this impending financial crisis. The offensive remarks made by Sophie Cunningham regarding fans. She said that spectators misjudge athletes based just on how aggressively they play on the court, failing to recognize their actual characteristics off the court. Her tone and implicit criticism of the fan base caused a great deal of resentment, even as she pleaded for understanding. This error further undermines the league's foundation by exposing a fundamental gap between players and the very audience that is essential to its survival. According to Cunningham's argument, fans tend to confuse a player's competitive on-court attitude with their temperament off-court. She thinks fans would fall in love if they really got to know them. But she makes an important distinction. Dirty play is not the same. A player's character is affected if they are genuinely dishonest and deceptive in their behavior. This subtlety is crucial, but her first generalization ran the risk of upsetting a fan base that was already struggling with how the league was seen. creating even more conflict and unhappiness. For fans, the disagreement lies precisely at the boundary between hustling plays and hard defense versus dirty play. Sophie may think that fans misinterpret intensity, but many onlookers have a good sense of what constitutes true, unsportsmanlike behavior. Instead of encouraging a closer bond, her remarks run the risk of dismissing valid fan concerns about particular behaviors. This internal conflict between player self-perceptions and public perceptions only serves to further the league's public image issues, turning off potential fans. A perfect storm is created by the combination of these elements: the enormous financial appeal of Project B, the debunking of the stay-at-home fiction, and the internal conflict brought to light by player-fan conflicts. For any athlete, especially those with the star potential to demand top salary, leaving the WNBA in search of unheard-of wealth becomes not just a feasible option, but also the overwhelmingly rational one. With its most important assets apparently headed for other endeavors, the league is currently fighting on several fronts. Unlike anything in its history, the WNBA is facing an existential threat. Can it adjust, significantly raise player pay, and resolve internal conflicts to keep its best players? Or will the allure of multimillion-dollar contracts and international travel prove to be too strong, resulting in a mass exodus that leaves the league a shadow of its former self? It's not simply a possibility that players like Caitlin Clark may soon leave due to unstoppable financial realities. The statistics that could permanently alter the course of women's basketball make it seem like an inevitable reality.